about the mysterious Large Hadron Collider and its complete lack of mystery. So to begin this, as with any scientific, persuasive thing as we've learned in our book, we start with an outline. I'll go through the outline first. Then I'll tell you what is the Large Hadron Collider. Then I'll take you through the scientific values it might hold. And then the biggest concern on most people's minds, is it safe? Are we going to blow up the Earth? And then give you a conclusion about whether or not the LHC itself is good or bad. So to begin, the Large Hadron Collider is basically a Large Hadron Collider. Hadrons are the heavier particles, such as protons and neutrons. And the LHC will be actually used specifically for colliding two protons or colliding heavy lead ions. And these comics that I have here can help explain this while I'm talking about it. And they are from a legitimate engineer who visited CERN, and he writes comics all the time, so you can believe it. Yes. Oh, sorry. And so basically in the Large Hadron Collider, through a 27 kilometer circular tube, they are colliding two protons at a speed of 0.999999991 C. That's extraordinarily close to the speed of light, and this will allow a high energy collision, which is what we want. And then this allows us to look at multiple different things that have amazing scientific appeal. So the first thing is the standard model that we work with every day. I'm sure most of you heard the word quark thrown around. Well, protons and neutrons are made of quarks. And the standard model itself is what claims all this. It claims what the basic particles are made of, that quarks make up the basic particles. The fundamental forces, such as strong forces, weak forces, how they interact with one another, which is through a different molecule of its own. And it basically just solidifies all of these things together. Now, I'm hoping some of you have sat down one night with your friends and thought to yourself, you know, what is mass? Because it really is a good question. And one of the things the standard model lacks is a description of this. And the LHC itself is looking for something called the Higgs boson, which is a result of atoms interacting with something called the Higgs field, which is supposed to be everywhere in space. When it interacts with the Higgs field, it gains mass. And that is one of the things that we'll be looking for, is the Higgs boson, which is the result of gaining this mass. And then the other thing that's extremely related to mass that's great scientific appeal is, I hope you've also thought about this with some of your friends. What is gravity? What is this ridiculous concept that brings two things always together? Never repelling like electromagnetic forces, but always together. And there's this idea of supersymmetry, that every particle has another particle, one actually that we can't see that's much heavier, that gives it this sort of gravitational field. And the LHC can actually detect the lightest of these supersymmetric particles, if the theory is correct. It's a big if. And the result of this would actually unify the three different theories I have listed here: the weak interactions, strong interactions, and electromagnetic forces. So there's a lot more significant research. I'll just give you a quick run through. The idea that there is dark matter out there, and that it may be made of supersymmetric particles. Dark matter is the matter that makes up all of the stuff that we can't see. And the reason why we know it's there is because galaxies oscillate around one another at speed faster than their own masses that we can see allow. So there has to be something else there. And the idea is that the dark matter is actually made of supersymmetric particles. It will test this idea by trying to detect supersymmetric particles and a few other tests. Then there's the mystery of antimatter and matter. If everything started at the Big Bang, shouldn't there be an equivalent amount of matter and antimatter, considering it started with nothing? Why do we only see matter in our universe? So they'll be looking into that idea also, as well as the idea of, big word, quark gluon plasma, which is basically when the two protons hit one another, they have a huge, really hot clump. And in that, when it hits, it basically becomes a plasma of all the quarks that are in it. So you look at basically like the primordial stew. So you think about evolution, when everything started from nothing and it just started combining. That's what we'd be looking at on the particle level. So, is the LHC safe? This is a question on everyone's mind. To give you the first generalization, the LHC is actually only simulating what's happening in nature. And I'll go through most of the specific examples. So the first one is, you always hear all these lawsuits and everything about people saying there's an energy level that's far past man-made things. It is the highest man-made energy ever created. However, these sort of interactions happen all the time. Two photons hit one another in the Earth's atmosphere. A photon hits the Earth. These photons have a much greater energy than the Large Hadron Collider can actually produce. So there's actually no reason to fret about two much lower energy particles colliding into one another, creating a lower energy than what we actually experience on a day-to-day basis. So there's one more thing that everybody always wonders about. Well, you always hear this thing about there's going to be a black hole that's going to suck in the entire world, and that we're going to be creating the mini Big Bang, creating new universes. Well, once again, the energy of Large Hadron Collider is much smaller than what happens in nature right now. Two photons hitting Earth, two photons hitting one another. They're not creating mini Big Bangs in the world around us. There are millions of Big Bangs happening at every instant. So the only time we're actually going to have anything that's even on the scale of a Big Bang's energy is going to be in the small scale of the two protons actually hitting one another. And the proton, I hope you know, is an extraordinarily small particle. Extraordinarily small. So you may have that energy as the concentration of something infinitesimally small. And then the other idea is a black hole. The LHC is going to create a black hole, suck in the entire world, destroy everyone. Well, the thing about astronomical black holes is they have a lot of energy because they take all the energy of the entire star and they convert all that energy into gravitational sucking energy. If you create that with two protons, it's not going to try to take anything in. It's not going to try to suck in anything from its environment because it's too weak. In fact, it will just disappear because it has no energy itself. And if you want more information on this specific topic, you can look up Hawking evaporation. It's a bit of a complex thing, but it's interesting if you like that. So basically, that brings you to the idea of, well, so is the Large Hadron Collider a positive or a negative game? And since I hope I've shown you that the Large Hadron Collider is a valuable scientific asset, that it also possesses pretty much no risk. The only risk that happens is the little bit of risk that always happens with experimental projects, such as a small flaw here or anything, even in previous colliders that are smaller, that could always happen. So besides the little experimental risk, it's not going to destroy the world. And so I have to say, with some confidence, that the LHC is definitely a positive asset for us. And now I'll open up the floor